It was a cold Tuesday morning in Boston, the kind of day where the wind bites through your coat and everyone walks a little faster to get where they're going. At the corner of Devonshire and Summer Street, the tall glass building of Harbour Tech Co. stood proudly, bustling with young tech professionals, flashing screens, and the scent of expensive coffee. But no one ever noticed the old man mopping the lobby floors. His name was Henry Thompson. Henry was in his late 60s, gray hair, under a worn-out cap, hunched shoulders, slow but steady hands. He spoke very little, mostly nodding politely when someone passed him by. Most employees knew him as the janitor guy, if they knew him at all. He came early, he left late, and he never missed a single day. Every morning, Henry would quietly push his cart through the shiny lobby, pausing now and then to admire the stock ticker that scrolled above the reception desk. He'd often linger in front of it, not out of curiosity, but with a quiet, focused gaze. Nobody thought much of it until one day, everything changed. The story broke on a Friday afternoon. Harbour Tech CEO, Rachel McConnell, was hosting an all-hands town hall. She stood on the main stage, confidently announcing company achievements when her tone shifted. "There's someone here in this building most of us walk past without saying a word," she said. "But today, I want to tell you a story that might change how you look at people forever." The audience leaned forward, curious. "This man," she continued, "has worked here for over 40 years as a janitor. But what none of you know is that Henry Thompson is retiring today as a millionaire." Gasps. Murmurs rippled through the crowd like a wave. "The janitor, a millionaire." Rachel smiled. "Let me explain. In 1984, Henry took his first job at Harbour Tech, not because he wanted to, but because he had to. His wife had passed away in a car accident, leaving him alone with a 2-year-old daughter. He had no degree, no special skills, just a need to survive. He worked nights so he could take care of his daughter during the day. He didn't complain. He didn't ask for favors. He just showed up. But here's where it gets interesting. Back in the late 80s, Harbour Tech offered employees, even janitors, the option to participate in its employee stock purchase program. Very few took it seriously, especially among the non-executives. But Henry did. He wasn't a financial expert. In fact, he once said he didn't even really know what a dividend was at the time. But he had one belief: if you work for something, believe in it too. So every month, no matter how small the paycheck, Henry bought a little bit of stock, $20 here, $50 there, sometimes only He never sold, he never bragged, he just let it grow. And while others chased raises, changed jobs, or spent their bonuses, Henry kept investing, year after year, quietly, patiently. By the time 2023 arrived, Henry's modest investments, thanks to decades of compound growth, stock splits, and reinvested dividends, had crossed $8.3 million in value, all from sweeping floors and saving consistently. That afternoon, when Rachel called Henry up to the stage, the crowd gave him a standing ovation. Many had never heard him speak before. Henry adjusted the mic, smiled gently, and said, "I never thought I'd be here. I just did what I could, with what I had. I didn't know much about money. I just knew I had to build something for my daughter." Then he paused and added, "Some people say I was lucky. Maybe I was, but I think real luck is just discipline that doesn't quit." He looked out at the sea of stunned young professionals, many making 6-figure salaries, yet still living paycheck to paycheck. "Every time I got a raise," he said, "I didn't buy more stuff, I bought more peace." That line hit people hard. After the event, his story went viral. News outlets picked it up. Social media exploded with headlines like "Janitor retires with $8 million after decades of silent investing." The power of compound interest. Lessons from a quiet millionaire. People from all over the country messaged Harbor Tech to thank Henry for showing the world what real patience and belief look like. But Henry, he didn't care about the fame. He quietly packed up his mop, left his access badge on the security desk, and went home. Not to a mansion, not to some exotic retirement villa, but to a modest 2-story house with a rose garden and a porch swing, where his now-grown daughter and grandkids were waiting with open arms. A few months later, someone from a finance podcast interviewed him. They asked, "Henry, if you could give one piece of advice to the younger generation, what would it be?" Henry chuckled and said, "Stop trying to look rich. Start trying to be free." Moral of the story: sometimes it wears overalls, carries a mop, and walks in quietly through the back door. Henry's story is proof that you don't need to be loud to be powerful. You don't need to be flashy to be wealthy. And you don't need to be brilliant to be wise. In a world obsessed with instant results, Henry chose slow growth, quiet discipline, and belief in something bigger than himself. And in the end, he didn't just clean floors, he cleaned up financially, emotionally, and spiritually.